Hello, my people. What up, what up, what up, what up? Have you ever wondered what to do before you do mixing? Well, the very first step before you do the mixing, after the recording and the composition, it's editing, because there's no way you're going to mix a song whose arrangement is all over the place. By the way, my name is Tige Kwenye Beat, and today we are looking at editing. Sometimes I'm going to be telling you what I'm doing, sometimes I'll be writing it on screen, sometimes I'm not going to say anything. It's up to you to keep up. So let's get started. So the song we are working on today is a song by some Ugandan artist, a gospel artist by the way. It's called Rahak. So the song is called Obasinga. I use Logic Pro by the way for the mixing, for the recording of the vocals, even for the composition for this particular project. However much I use other DAWs, but for this one, I've been using Logic so far. So Logic Pro users, big up. So there's a whole lot of plugins I usually use that are not available on this computer right now, but that's not a problem. I replaced them. So take a listen to the song.
One time, non situla. Two time, non sembeza. This time, on Peter Manawo. It's true, it's true. There is no other like you. Only you, yes, you. At the cross you made me new. I love you, you love me too, too. There is no other like you. I love you, you love me too. There is no other like you. I want nobody singer. You're the only one who knows my ways. I'm asking you this prayer. Donde it's true, it's true. There is no other like you. Only you, yes, you. At the cross you made me new. I love you.
I love the way you love me.
You
I
love
love the
me
way that you kiss me
too.
when I fall. I love the way you love me.
There is no other like you.
You love me, we vibrate.
I love you.
You say you never name.
You
When
love
the
me
sun of the
too.
stars behind is fading.
There is no other like you.
Breathe in me.
Imana gukunda. He will never judge. He will never fail. Yeah, musabe yesala. Tunde kanzeka. 'Cause it's true. It's true. There is no other like you. Only you, yes, you. At the cross you made me new. One time, non situla. Two time, non sembeza. This time, on Peter Manawo. On Peter Manawo.
So as you've heard, that's the song we're dealing with today. So usually the first thing I do is putting in these markers you see. So these markers like the intro, the pre-chorus, the chorus, these are not standard sections of a song, but it's just my understanding. Like if I want to not forget where I'm at, what are we changing? Actually, the moment the artist starts recording, I'm usually asking them if they are the ones who wrote the song. Is this your verse? Is it the chorus? Am I hearing the post-chorus? What am I hearing? So the moment they explain to me their idea, then I begin arranging it in the DAW. As you can see, my song has an intro, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, post-chorus, outro. Those are the sections. If I go to the LCD and enable custom, I can see how long this song is. So this one is 3 minutes, 7 seconds. Does it need to be that long? Well, we're about to see that. So another thing you can hear, there are saxophones and guitars. These were played by my friend Akida Beats. Something happened before we finished the recording. I don't know what happened with our electricity. So we didn't finish the recording when it came to guitars. So as you'll hear, for the very last part, I'm having a lot of synthetic guitars, not the real guitar. So I'll need to use what I had recorded before in the previous parts of the song to fill up the other side. The saxophone, I think you can hear, not polished, but it's everywhere. And then I think here, right here, you can hear the vocals. There's a way they appear, like 2 kinds of opposing vocals and all that. I told the artist to put their ideas anyway. I'll sort them later. We see how best we can arrange. I knew this period would come when I'm editing, so this is what I'm doing.
Other like you, me, man, I love the way you love me. I love the way that you kiss me when I fall. I love the way you love me. There is no.
If you can hear that, I think you hear.
I love you.
I love the way you love me. I love the way that you kiss me when I fall. I love the way you love me.
There is no other like you.
You love me with vibe.
I love you.
You say you love my name.
You
When
love
the
me
sound of the
too.
stars behind is fading.
There is no other like you.
Man, I go.
I think you've heard that. So I need to find a way of making that verse to work. Those were the original ideas of the artist. I told them to put them there anyway because I want to see how they work. So the first thing I'll do, I want to audition my tracks before I do the routing. Listen to each track, see that every track is labeled and routed to the right place. Now, I have a template I use for routing. I've realized that this workflow makes me faster as I do my mixing. I have already loaded this. I loaded it, by the way, when they were even recording. This template, it has my lead vocals and their effects like the delay, the reverb, modulation, and everything from the lead vocal now goes to this LV bus. So if I mute this, I'm muting everything about the lead vocal. I also have the same with the background vocals. Everything is routed to this BGV bus. And then I have for the bass, the kick, the snare, the overheads, the percussions, the sound effects, the chords, the melodies, the sustain. After those groups, I think they're around 10, then I'm having these other groups where everything from the previous groups routes into. For example, in the foundation, you'll find that the kick, I think you can see everything is unsoloed except the kick and the bass. So when I solo this foundation bus, I'll be hearing the kick and the bass. I think you can see that in my arrangement window, it's only those. When you come to the drums, this is what I'm hearing. I have the sound effect. So I have the sound effects, I have the drums, I have the sound effects, I have the snare, I have the rhythm part of it. That's what we're dealing with. And then in the accompaniment, that's when I'm having all accompanying melodic instruments, like the chords, the melodies, the sustain, all that is right here. Now, all these three, as you can see them, they go into this bus 39, which is the beat bus. So if I solo this bus, I'm hearing everything in the beat, but not the vocals. But I have the same for vocals. So the background vocals you saw here, and this one for the background vocals and the lead vocals, Remember, everything from the background and lead vocals goes into those buses. So those ones output to this.
Other like you.
So in my arrangement,
I love you.
In my arrangement, you can see it's only vocals.
You. Yes, you. At the cross you made me new.
So these two now, the beat and the vocals, these ones in blue, they are going to bus 41. What is in bus 41? This is the mix out. So I can do some processing before this mix heads to the mastering or the master bus. So this one, I usually put only the gain plugin. If the mix is too loud or too low, I usually do that. So this one outputs to the processing. Now this is where my mastering things come across. These are the plugins I use for mastering. I don't do a whole lot of it. And here you can see that right now, this process or mastering plugins bus outputs to the limiter. Now, the limiter is something that usually increases your loudness a whole lot. I want to hear my mix with my references to see how close I got without the loudness aspect. So the limiter is usually the thing that comes last, and I usually use it to make the mix loud to competitive levels, to commercial levels. But I don't want to compare it, my mix, to the references with the limiter on, because that loudness added usually confuses my ears. So that's all there is with this template. That's the routing. So that's what we are going to be working with. Otherwise, let's get into it now. So first of all, let me unmute my stuff. So I think nothing is solid.
I love you.
I love the way you love me.
So now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to first mute everything from the vocals.
You love me too.
Actually, all of them are routed to the same lead vocal bus. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think I know that these are backups. So I usually prefer to color them differently. So this is the first thing I'm doing. I'm pressing Option C to get my color palette. I'm choosing that color for the background vocals. And then for the lead vocals, I'm going to use this yellow color. But feel free to use just about any color you want. This person recorded even add vocals or ad libs. I'm giving those ones a green. So the next thing, I'm routing the background vocals to correct buses. I think they are these. But now the way I named this, it's telling me it's a lead vocal, yet it's supposed to be a background, so I'm relabeling it again. So these background vocals, I'm going to my mixer. Instead of them going to bus 1, which is L vox or lead vocal bus, I'm sending them to the BG vox, which is the background vocal. So for that reason, if I solo my lead vocal, it's the only thing I'm hearing. I'm also removing, I'll remove this later on when I start the mixing during the gain staging, but for now, we're doing the editing. So if you look at my instruments, everything is routed to stereo out most of the time. So this is now the time to route everything right. So everything with the labeled bass, I'm going to route it to the bass. I have also other audio I don't intend to use. These were the first vocals this person ever recorded. So I don't intend to use these. I don't know whether I'll need them, but whatever it is that is muted at this time, I'm going to pull it up there. So these were vocals first recorded. I don't intend to use them. I'm first going to really put them way up there. Maybe if I need to fix some things, I'll come back to them. But for now, I really don't think I'm going to need them. So I'm only choosing what it is that I really would want. I know because I've listened to these vocals, I made up my mind, I'm not using them, so that's why I'm hiding them here. So when I've chosen what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use, I'm leaving these long lines, however much they're muted, simply because I feel like maybe I need some of them here and there, especially for the saxophone, the guitars, because we didn't record enough material, so some of the material might need to be reused. So in Logic, there's a way to make stuff you don't want to see hidden by pressing letter H. And this comes up. Okay, so you just press on the H on all of them. And the moment you press letter H on your keyboard, now they'll disappear. So that gives you more room to work and less distracting materials to work with. If you want to put them back, you just press the H and they'll come back, and then you can unhide them. So the next thing now I'm going to do is going in Window, then Project Audio. I'm going to right click and select Unused. So I have a lot of unused tracks. These tracks were recorded, but they were never used. Like, it's like you record, then you press cancel. So here, I want all these to be removed because they are not to be used anywhere, or they are not used anywhere in that song. First of all, I think my recycle bin is empty. Yeah. So I want you to check my project size. Right here, if you go to Logic, File, then Project Management, Show in Finder, it can show you where your project is located if you happen not to know where it is, like in this case. So in this, if you check my project size, it's 680 MBs, all right? But going back to Window, then Project Audio, right-clicking, and select Unused, all these files are not used. So I'll press delete on my keyboard and delete them. So after deleting them, they still remain there in the files folder, audio files folder, but they are not part of the project. I need to remove them from there even. So I'll go to File, Project Management, Cleanup. And when I do that, I'll delete the project backups and delete unreferenced audio files. So those are the ones I'm looking for. So the moment I press that, all these audio files are part of my project, but I'm not using them. So I'll press delete, and now they come to my recycle bin. All right, this is where we are. So all these files were not part of my project. So you want to know what my project size has become now? Well, right now it's 395 from 680. So this is another way to make sure you don't have a lot of projects that take up a whole lot of size, but in real sense, you don't have anything you're using those files for. So that's one tip for you there. Very important. Now I'm seeing this classic electric piano, but I don't know what that is. So I want to give it a name that really makes sense to me. So if you look into it, I'm not hearing anything from it. Why? Well, it's in Contact, but the Contact version I use, there's this library called the Gentleman. So it's nowhere to be seen. I'm going to first fix that. So in the meantime, what we did was to rename every file to the right name and route it to the right bus. For example, let's say that's the name of this this track. I don't know what it is. So the first thing I did was to press my solo button and audition it. Then I identified that this is a kick. So the first thing is label this kick and its track. And then I use Shift Alt or Shift Option N to make sure that every region is now renamed to the name of the track, and then route it to the right place. So this is a kick. I routed it to the kick bus. I think the kick bus is here. So I did that to every track. I thought that shouldn't waste your time. There are more important things to do. If I decide to solo the very last bus, everything going through this project should be soloed. I use this as a trick to know whether there is anything that is not routed properly. If you saw anything that is muted, that would be the odd man out. And I think we have this piano. So this one is going to stereo out. We forgot to route it. And now this is a test. That's why it's very important. So this one was piano chords too. So it should go to the chords bus. I'm right clicking and sending it to the chords bus.
It's true, it's true. There is no other like you.
So after fixing my contact thing, then right here. So I think now everything is routed, right? If we go back to the mixer and mute the very last bus of our routing, where everything goes to, I think we should hear nothing. So everything is playing, as you can see on my meters, but we are not hearing a thing. That one is another test that we're routing it right. We've finished renaming our tracks, we've finished routing our tracks, we've finished hiding or eliminating tracks we don't need. We've finished removing audio files that we don't need. Now the next thing is the actual editing itself. Now this is the creative process now. I want to point out something to you that we need now to first color code the next thing. For melodies, now I've soloed the melodies bus, and whatever you see that is soloed, that's a melody. So we are going to first select all of them. Bring them close to each other. And we are going to color all of them using one color. So for this one, I'm choosing that. And then I'm going to look at even the chords. So these ones, we have a few of them scattered around. I'm selecting those tracks there. Putting them close together. And I'm giving them a single color. Next, I'm going to look at the effects. Those are my effects. My sound effects, I mean. Let me give them that one there. Then I'm going to look at the sustain. Well, I think those are few, but let's give them something like that. Then we look at the percussion. These ones, they are two only. I think it's okay if they remain green. And then my snare is one. I think my snare is not one. Yeah, for that one, let me give it that dull color. And the kick is also one. Let me give it that. Percussions, I was thinking of giving them this lousy blue. Yeah, so I think a whole lot of the tracks now are colored, so we know exactly where something is. I think the most congested part now is the melodies, and that points out to something in our arrangement abilities. So we agreed that that's the arrangement of the saxophone we want. So for that one, we are not touching it. Maybe somewhere where we decided not to put it was here. That's why we had recorded some lines, but then we muted them. Another thing I'm doing is reducing the lines as long as they're not interfering with themselves. So this track of the saxophone can be put here. And I can have fewer and fewer saxophone lines. I don't want to have a ton of lines I'm not using. So this line here we're not using for now. I'll consider putting it up there. I want to ease my decision-making process. And this one right here we're not using. Putting it there. This one has no line. It's still a saxophone. So all these saxophone lines I'm not using. I think there's only one we had agreed to use. I need to check. I think it was, I think it's this, because it has a part of it that is to be used. So I'll just drag this part to here. Then these ones I think I'm not using at all, since they are muted region. So all those that I'm not using, I'm sending them way up there. Maybe I'll revisit them if I realized I really need them. But for now, since I don't need them, I'm putting them there. So since that saxophone is the main line there, I want to make sure that nothing obstructs from it. So we chose now I'm having a lot of synthetic guitars, but now we have these live guitars. So now this editing now is becoming hugely the arrangement thing from what we have been doing, that technical stuff. Remember, this person did like 4 takes. So I can choose this or this. My arrangement has a very sparse arrangement when it comes to guitars. I think even this track, I don't need it for now. So I'm putting it way up there. So for now, I don't want to have these tracks in consideration. I'm hiding them to make sure my project is as small as it needs to be. These takes, they were 4. I'm going to separate them by unpacking to independent tracks. So all these, I can use them where we don't have any guitars. So according to what I'm seeing, there's a lot of places without guitars. So I'm going to be doing this. And then I'll see wherever we don't have guitars, I'm going to be filling it up like that. So we had agreed that that wah guitar is going to be in every chorus. So I'm putting that in every chorus. I think another one is there. So I'm populating the track with the guitars. And then we also had this second alternative. I don't know how it sounds. So let me put it on test here to see how it really looks. Now, if you can see, there's a whole lot of places. Now here we have a whole lot of saxophones, and we agreed, remember, the saxophone is the main instrument here. So wherever we have it, we don't want to distract a whole lot with other instruments. But there is a place somewhere there I think we can put it there for now. So I think we love that. Now I'm going to test these other ideas, see how they work. Where can I place them? We can take that to be the intro guitar. Let's also listen to this. We see how that sounds. So I think I don't like that as much. That's why I'm muting that. I think I like this a bit, so we will find somewhere where we can put it. Maybe we can put it somewhere. It happens to be lingering around in the background. Maybe we'll decide. But so far, that's the arrangement of the guitars I'm having. Again, I'm trying as much to reduce my... I'm reducing the number of tracks. Next, we are having... Now, in this part, I think it is okay to have one track for the guitars. So I'm looking at, do I really need this here? I think when it comes to the guitars, that's what we are going to be having, but I'm limiting my tracks now to only those. Again, I'm right-clicking and deleting unused tracks. So I think they become fewer there. So let's get moving. I'm using the gain plugin to reduce the overwhelming guitar tracks. So I think they are the guitars, the saxophones. I think the arrangement is cool now. Remember, the guitars are also part of the melody stuff. So I'm giving them the same color. So I need to find ways of my chords. Let's look at them. If I mute the melodies, the chords, I think there are not too many. I think there are not too many. I think there are not too many when it comes to the guitars. I think they are for the chords. I think it's okay. I'm not having more than 4 chords playing at the same time. and they are panned to different directions, to different areas in the stereo panorama. So I don't think they are quite overwhelming. So I'll not touch those for now.
You're the only one who knows my ways. I'm asking you this prayer. Donde hazeka. It's true. It's true. There is no other like.
I think those are okay. I think the main problem now is with the melodies, because we already have quite a whole lot of them. So we need to see how best we deal with them. So we need now to look at the other synthetic melodies apart from those live melodies we have for the guitar and for the saxophone. Let's start with the, especially, I think the biggest problem is with the intro, really. It has a whole heck of stuff. And all those stuff, that stuff, I love it. So what do we do with it? Well, let's check to see what really might matter most. Now, if I usually have different tracks but the same MIDI patch or instrument patch, I usually join them. So this guitar melody, I'm having a guitar melody 2 and guitar melody 1. I'm having this flamenco guitar A from I think it's from Omnisphere. I think it's the same. So the moment I find that it's the same, I usually prefer to really join my stuff. So this flamenco guitar, all right, is the same as this. So if it's the same and the treatment is the same almost on my track, then as a way of eliminating multiple tracks, I'll prefer to really join it, as long as they're not playing in the same place. So this, I'm putting it there. I'm eliminating that. That helps me to have fewer tracks, and they should also be at a level where you can hear them. Let's get going. Usually I prefer to go to my chorus, one of them. I think you can hear how chaotic my mix has become. But that's the role of the mixing we are going for now. So I usually mute everything. I'll also need to have a reference track. In this case, I'm going to bring one of the reference tracks I did some time ago. I think it's from my friend called Chambade Derek. The reason I'm using this as a reference is because he's my friend, he can sue me, okay? I can use it. So I'll go to my drive, then check on my works and look for, it's a track I mixed in 2025, so his name is Lucky Pro. So I'll audition these tracks and see what I can really use as a reference track. Now that would be a good mix to refer to, but it doesn't have that Afrobeat percussion or stuff I'm going for, so I'm looking for. But still, I think let me first go with that for. Let me try, however much it's a Zouk song. Let me try that because good music will be good music. Now this was what I'm choosing as my reference. First thing I'll do is to reduce its volume by around -12 or to around -9 for that reason, such that it's not overwhelming. I can look at its level and know what kind of loudness it is. Now, why am I going to first choose this? Because it has those live guitars. It doesn't have the saxophone. I have other tracks having saxophones, but I think it is the right choice. So let's just keep working with that. Now this is not the best mixing session you're ever going to see, but if you're a person who is like terrified by mixing, well, I was also like that some few years ago, but this process is what really got me off the ground and launched me up. So after getting the reference track, then I'm going to try to do the levels, gain staging, okay? I'm going to not touch my faders at -3 where they are, but I'm going to be getting inside the instrument or the track, inside the VST or the audio itself for the reduction or the changes in volumes I might need. So now I'm going to listen to the kick, see if I can match the length, the level of that kick. Today is the day that the Lord has made. So at this stage, now I'm going to first activate this thing called the link. That VST link, I think it's called the link button. It helps me that I don't have to open every plugin for every track. So the track I click on is the one whose VST or sampler or whatever thing that is outputting whatever, giving you the sound comes out. So that's my snare. Now at this point, I'm going to look for instruments that really play everywhere. So those are the ones I'm going to first care about. So I'm listening to his chords. I'm trying to see which chords really are that hard, that short. I'm realizing I think maybe this one. So from that point on, I need to see how will my vocals fit in. So I'll go to put in the vocals.
True, it's true. There is no other like you. It's true. There is no other like you. Only you. Yes, you. There is no other like you. Only you. Yes, you. At the cross you made me new. True. It's true.
Now, why am I putting the vocals at that time? I think they are the most important elements in this song. So putting them early enough makes sure that they are not overshined by any other thing, makes sure that I know where they should be in the first place. Then I know how to arrange where to arrange the other elements now. nothing in there. So for that reason, I'm thinking of deleting that. I don't know why I put it there. So for this guitar, it's way back there. So I'm trying to position it such that it can be heard, but then it's not overwhelming. It's not everywhere. Now I'm having a lot of instruments in this intro. That's why I'm thinking that one I might not use it. In this ambient piano, I'm thinking of not using it. I'm thinking of using only this guitar strummed. Again, to avoid overwhelm, at least for somebody to single out what they're listening to. I think that adds the ambient we're looking for. Next, I want to listen to these guitar strums, see if there's any difference between them. If there isn't, I'm removing one of them. I think both of them have some ambient qualities to them, so but still I might remove that high-end one. So if I like that, I'm going to duplicate that all over the place. And I'm going to be putting it at 12 octaves, 12 semitones way up there. So on the transpose, I can do it from here. I think there should be a transpose somewhere there. If not, then I'm going to do it right from here. I think it adds that depth, but I'm going to reduce it a bit to something like negative. I want to be hearing both of those guitars. So I think the roles have not much of a problem. So I'm thinking this is the rough mix I'm going to go now. Do the application of plugins and all that on. I'm going to bounce it for further listening. So the session can prove to have been too tiring for me, but I'll stop there. I don't want to mix when I'm tired, when my mind is not focused. That's another lesson. But so let's put in the vocals. We see how everything sounds for now.
One time, non situla. Two time, non sembeza. This time,
So you can be listening and seeing whether you can hear everything or
it's true. It's true. There is no other like you. Only you. Yes, you. At the cross you let me do. I love you. You love me too. Too. There is no other like you. I love you. You love me too.
so after listening through, I think I feel like everything is audible now. We can hear it. Now we can go ahead to treat it with effects when we know where it is, how it sounds, how loud it is, and we're going to try to maintain that. It still doesn't sound more like my reference, but it is leveled a bit now.
There is no other like you. Today is the day that you love me too. There is no other like you. It's true. It's true. There's no other like you. Only you. At the cross you let me do. Today is the day. Two times, no sembeza. This time, pita manao. Pita manao. Managukunda. He will never judge, he will never fail.
So as you can see, my saxophone and guitars, they're a bit way too loud. Now here I can choose to reduce them using the gain plugin, but still I feel like the gain plugin might be more useful for now, because when I start the actual thing, I want to be working with mainly the faders now, but at least I know these are part of my rough mix. I think we are doing good. So now pasting that new value for every guitar, saxophone for the loudness. So I want to see if they're not very overwhelming as they've been. I think that's a pretty basic rough mix. I think it sounds a bit okay. So I'm now going to go for a break. I'll come back and do now the effects, but that's so far where we are.